Good morning. My name is Kelly Patterson, and I'm the Senior Director of Compliance. My main focus is with the Physician Network. I spend most of my time working with the Physician Network and all of the wonderful services that they offer. Just to give you a little bit about what I do on a day-to-day basis as it relates to compliance, I issue spot, I mitigate risk, and I work very closely with our departmental leaders, our physician leaders, to help understand and then navigate all of those complex rules, the regulations, the policies, the procedures that are out there telling us how we have to deliver our care, when we can deliver our care, how to document for that care, and whether we can bill it and actually receive payment for that. So I'm very excited to see how healthcare is changing. I've been here for 16 years. I've actually worked in compliance for 20. And over the last 5 years, I think we've seen the biggest changes that I've ever experienced before. We're moving from that fee-for-service to a quality care. We're also able to offer services in a very innovative way that we've never been able to do before. The fact that we can offer face-to-face visits from physicians to patients through virtual technology, Skyping to get that patient care, that we're expanding our genetic counseling and that presence, that we're looking at integrative health and how we can offer up massage therapy, Reiki therapy, and yoga to our patients that are getting cancer treatment. Those are all very new, exciting ways of delivering care. Some of the challenge that comes with that is how we do it when we're often the trailblazers. You know, Navon is a leader, and we're leading the path down to be able to accomplish that. Sometimes we can't just easily Google and look up to see how we're going to structure these services. So it takes a lot of effort and collaboration to figure out how we're going to offer that to our patients. So my vision is to create a task force that would have a sole focus to help us launch these new services across Novant Health. And I know you're probably thinking, not another task force, not another committee, but let me talk to you about how this can be effective. So walk with me through a day in compliance. So sometimes I get an email, I may get a phone call. Most often I'm in a meeting for something completely different, and someone pulls me to the side and says, hey, we have just hired 3 new physicians. We're going to start offering this service. What kind of compliance risk do you see? Well, there could be several. I mean, you know, have we engaged legal? Is there a legal structure that we need to consider here? Have we talked to our payers? Do we know if it's going to be covered? Have we talked to the RCS? Is this going to be ambulatory? Is it going to be acute? Is there a workflow that's in place? Do we need to do some education around that workflow? Let me try to get a meeting together, and I'll get back to you. Meanwhile, this is going live in October. It may take me a month to get on everybody's calendar to try to start having these conversations. And meanwhile, the patients may be scheduled, physicians are ready to go, and we're over here in the background trying to go through all that bureaucratic red tape that sometimes we have to deal with when trying to provide these services. So in my vision, this new approach is to have that single task force come together, and it's comprised of the key leaders that need to be at the table. It's compliance, it's legal. We may need a program manager. Depending on the breadth and the scope of this particular service, it's got managed care, growth and integration. We are having those conversations all along the way, rather than working in silos independent of each other. We're together, and we have our assignments that we're answering our questions and getting those answers to come back to the group, but we're doing it at the same time. We're on tight timelines. We're meeting 1 to 2 weeks at a frequency until we get to our goal. We have accountability and the expectation that you come back to the group prepared. So that when today it may take us months, it may even take us years to get this set up and structured correctly. We can take that down. We can do better. We can go from months and years, we can get it to weeks and months, depending on how large this is. So that's my vision. I challenge us that we can come together and deliver this. We can do better. We can get our services out there. And getting it right on the front end cuts down on the mistakes that we've made on the back end, where we have to give money back, or we have to refund the patients, or we have to, I'm so sorry, we've messed up here, and we have to make a disclosure to a government payer. so it lessens our risk. So that's my vision, a new strategic task force for launching new services. So I welcome any questions that you might have.
Questions for Kelly?
So who do you envision leading or steering this group?
I totally left that out of me, and why I'm good at that. That's my biggest fear, that I would leave something like that out of me. I have the history, I have the experience, and where I sit in my department as part of compliance, I stand in the gap. You know, I'm not operational. I don't pretend to be operational, but I'm in a good position where I can, again, spot those issues and determine who needs to be at the table to start answering those questions.
I have a question. I think it's a great idea and a great vision, but my question is, why hasn't it been done already? So what barriers have you encountered, especially if you want to lead it?
Yeah, well, I think we've tried before, but I think we've grown to a point now where it's becoming more challenging. So, for example, I've been working closely with virtual health, and when to engage someone to help answer those questions. My vision would once the new technology task force or virtual health says this is the right thing to do for Novant Health and go forth and conquer. The go forth and conquering part is where we're kind of struggling. Who needs to be at the table? How do we get those questions answered? And we're not there at the same time. So that's been the challenge, is getting everybody together to answer those types of questions.
What are some things that the operators in the organization can do to help you and your team stay ahead of some of these issues
Yeah.
and ultimately improve our expediency?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it's word of mouth or the advertisement of this group. That yes, go forward, do offer these services, but don't forget to run it by this group. And then they can help provide the answers in the direction that they need. Because so often we get all the way in the middle of something where we've got some major holes that we've got to go back and answer.
I think that would be the challenge, and that was kind of my question, is how do you make this inclusive enough so you don't have those holes, but you don't make this task force, a senior leader meeting of 30, 40 people?
Yeah, and again, having the experience and the connections throughout the medical group, if we started with the medical group, I think just having that history, we know who to bring to the table from experiences that we've gone through before and maybe didn't work out so well, and making certain that if it's not at the senior level leader, that we've got the right people directly related to them that we have at the table.
So how will you engage other groups across the organization, get them as excited about this idea as you are, and really work the white spaces of the organization?
Well, I've started having some conversations, and I've met with some of the physician leaders within the medical group because, again, I spend the majority of my day working with the physician network. So that's where I've started having the conversations. And we've just all been in meetings very recently where we're like, what's slowing us down? What is taking so long to get this accomplished? And that's where this kind of grew, this idea grew, is how can we do this better? So I think continuing to engage the physician leaders and getting them excited so they know we're ready to offer this service. Let's bring your team in so we can figure out how to do so.
So Kelly, a question for you. What's the next best alternative if we don't do this? And you have, you try to launch it, but you run into competing priorities and the engagement lacking thereof, but we still have this problem. So how do we resolve that? What's your next best?
I think I continue to do what I'm doing today and working with my group, with compliance, and just relying on my relationships with the other departments that I've mentioned today. And depending on how large it is, if we need program management, if I need to contact legal, we just continue on the path we are today. This would just help strengthen, solidify, and give structure to a process that we're already doing, but it would, I think, help expedite that.
Feedback on the vision and things you did well and tips for next time.
So Kelly, I can remember many years ago, the first time I heard you present in the medical group, and I was wowed by your presentation style, and same today. So you own the room, you have strong presence, you present in a very very authentic way. So great job, and I love the candor of, I forgot. And I also like the fact that you didn't dance around saying that you think it should be you that leads the group.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Authentic was one of the words that came to mind, and I agree, you've got a very comfortable presentation style, in a very pleasing way. And you articulate things, I thought, fairly clearly, and I agree. I mean, I think, be bold, and be bold with the ask of you being in the group, be bold with the ask right at the front, and then finish with a strong ask at the end, too. I think if you do those things, it'll really continue to strengthen your skills.
I thought you had a strong presence as well, great eye contact. I said, don't forget to promote you, your ideas, your role, your leadership. I like the way you put this, is be bold. And then suggestions for next time, I just put, just do it. Okay. Makes sense. Don't ask for permission, just go do it.
Particularly, say that, just go do it, particularly with your new leader who has a new role. I think that's a go do it as well. I liked how you showed confidence in your abilities and how you integrated your experience and knowledge in what you want to do. Great job.
Any other thoughts? Okay.